Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to go over, this is going to be slightly a part 2 of my Stationery Minimalism series. Well, I don't know if it's going to be a series. We'll see, depending on how far I get into going through my supplies. But in unpacking my things, if you've watched my first video talking about Stationery Minimalism, I went through my things and I am taking an inventory of my actual supplies and coming across certain areas of things that I know I have way too much of now and that I want to strive to not purchase anymore for the next 6 months until the end of the year to up to a year or to whenever I end up really using up these items. And in the first video, I talked about ephemera and die cuts, pattern paper, sticker flakes were one of them, and I talked about washi tape. And in this video, I want to cover all things notebooks. Now, I didn't used to have such a huge collection of notebooks. I can honestly say that when I journaled, I used to have my journal that I would write in every day, and then I would maybe have 1 or 2 as a backup as I was getting near the end of the current journal I was using. And that was kind of it. I might have had like a spare blank notebook here or there that I've been given or that I just kept around for note-taking or such, but I didn't have blank notebooks just sitting around usually. And now in the recent years, I have really gotten a collection, which is quite surprising because, well, not surprising, but I want to say that ever since I moved to my traveler's notebook as my everyday journal, I don't journal in anything else usually. I usually just have maybe a notebook here or there for like to-do lists. I usually keep one in my purse, like a small one for grocery lists and such. I mean, you've seen some of these inserts in my wallet setup, in my planner setup, and so looking at what I've got here in front of you, this is just an incredible amount of blank journals and notebooks. And now looking at this huge amount, I am actually highly considering using these as like a regular journal. Maybe after I finish my next couple inserts in my traveler's notebook, I might move into one of these notebooks as my everyday journal. I don't know. And so maybe I want to do this video as kind of like a talk through and then go through my actual collection of blank notebooks. So I'm going to start with everything that's in this Craftsman tote because I just kind of threw in all my smaller notebooks in here. These are, now not counting all my blank backup inserts for my actual traveler's notebook, these are all my small notebooks. I love the small size. These are great for note-taking, throwing into my purse. They're great for travel. They're just the perfect compact size that just fits in my hand. And so I really do have a penchant for small notebooks. And now that I have a passport size for carrying around, and when I get my leather cover for my field notes, I feel like I'm going to be carrying this size a lot more. But to kind of go through what I've got in here, I've got a notebook. This is like a news reporter's notebook. Got this back in high school because I went to an arts high school, so it was a journalism class and our teacher gave everybody one of these. I've kept it ever since. I've not used it ever. I've got 2 notebooks in here that are from Typo from long ago. They're both lined, just easy, small, hardbound journals. A few of the smaller size notebooks here. I've got a Totoro lined notebook, a small kilobyte grid paper notebook. This is really small, very handheld. a Midori to-do list, notepad, and I think this is from Fred Aldis. It's the typograph notebook. And what else have I got? I've got this very pretty one that I got at the Seattle Art Museum. This I recently picked up at Bainbridge Island. Very beautiful. It's printed on Italian paper with this beautiful kind of almost letterpressed cover, so you can feel the texture of it. That's spiral bound. And what else have I got? I've got these two notebooks that I picked up at Muji when we were there last in, I think it was on Sloane Square. This is a paper chase notebook. This I think I picked up at Fred Aldis. This was a part of a pack, so this is the last of the blank notebooks of this series. This is a Paris notebook that's lined. Got those at Barnes & Noble long ago, I think. This is a Leuchtturm? It's German. Notebook. I got this in Boswell bookstore, yeah, in Portland. And I picked up this really pretty one. Oh gosh, I think I picked this up at the Japanese bookstore. I just love the cover of it. And this I got at an interiors trade show long ago. This was years ago. I think it was from college. An insert that I made myself. And these are moleskin notebooks. Lots of field notes. These are all my field notes. And these are the Miro line, I think. Miro's notebooks. I got it at an art museum in Chicago. And finally, I've got a cheese. I think it's a cheese review notebook. I thought that would be fun. And then some passport size inserts. And these were actually from when Gap revamped their whole look and they were giving away notebooks. And it said Wauwatosa because that was the location they were in. And we used to live in Wauwatosa, so that was kind of like a cool thing. So those are all my small notebooks. Also keep in mind my passport size inserts are not all in here. I just happen to have a couple in there. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to store all my traveler's notebook things. Okay, and then going into the larger journals, I also have two handmade paper journals. I love these so much. I used to use a lot of these as my regular journal because I love the textured handmade paper. I love how it takes bottled ink when you use a dip pen, or now that I have a fountain pen, this would be a really great one to use. So I think this one is intact. This one I had purchased to tear the paper out and use as wedding invitations because I made my own wedding invitations. And so this one actually is missing quite a few pages, but the rest of it is intact. And I absolutely love these types of journals. And then I've got this whole stack over here of unused notebooks. This is part of that terabyte, megabyte, gigabyte series. So this is the megabyte, just a blank unlined notebook. I featured this in a chat update. This is a comic book one. This would be great for a Hobonichi challenge if you don't have a Hobonichi, because it's got the different divided spaces for you to do the sketch challenges. These are a couple happy scrappy inserts, so I didn't really have a place for them, so I kind of threw them in here because I think this one, yeah, this one's a planner one. And this one is like a junk journal, kind of random journal version. So I put those aside in this batch. I've got, I think a couple of these are moleskin, yeah. So I've got, this is a moleskin gardening themed journal that I got on clearance a couple weeks ago. This was a gift from my husband because I love the Peanuts gang. So this is a Snoopy and Woodstock moleskin hardbound notebook. I love these sizes for note-taking and planning out projects and such, so these are really great for that. And I love that it has the elastic on there. And along the lines of that style, I have these two right here. I featured this in a haul, I believe, or like a notebook collection, I think at the beginning of the year. This is an Alice in Wonderland notebook, but what's cool about this is the whole book is actually printed out, and those act as the lines of the journal. So I'm a literary person, so I love that kind of detail, and Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite books. So I've got that. This is an atomic notebook. This is actually from, I think, when my husband was at a business conference. So it's kind of half filled because I originally had used this as a journal to plan out video ideas and such. So I think I'll end up using that for that purpose later on. I've got a feed journal. This was, I think, Feed for Target when they partnered up with them. It's kind of got like a dotted line paper. I love Feed products. Some other smaller notebooks. This is a Little Gratefulness diary that I got from I think it was from a Flow magazine. Yeah, it was like a little freebie on the inside. So I've got that. I got this at Daiso recently. And actually I'm using the Panda version of that as my like to-do list notebook. So this is a blank one with polar bears. I picked this up at Boswell in Wisconsin. The other notebook that I said was from Boswell is actually from Powell's in Portland. This is from Boswell's in Milwaukee. I just love the image of the bear on the flying carpet with an umbrella. Very whimsical. I couldn't pass it up. And finally, two larger notebooks, which are not typically the size that I like to use, but this one, the cover was just too beautiful. I got this from the Japanese bookstore. It's just blank paper, but the paper is so smooth and so pretty. And because this came in that set with the megabyte and gigabyte, all that, it's just a blank notebook. That just came with it. So clearly you can see from my like brief review of all the notebooks that I carry, this is yet another area that I find myself not needing to purchase any more of. The exceptions are going to be, and I mentioned this in my art supplies allowances, are refills for my actual traveler's notebook. So that is going to be my 013 inserts that I use. That's my everyday journal of choice. And so I think if it's a refill of a certain supply that you actually use, I can count that as one of my allowances of, you know, items that I will let myself buy. But when it comes to actual notebooks for random needs, for to-do lists, for planning of any sort, I really do not need to buy anymore because you can see I have got so many. And this is just so much. And you don't even realize that you have so much until you actually keep them in one place and you store, and you know, you see them. When it's all packed away in boxes or it's stored away in pretty boxes on your bookshelf, you just kind of, you know, out of sight, out of mind. And I definitely believe in that kind of mentality because, I mean, look where I am now. I just have so many. And so this is definitely going to be one of those where I know I mentioned as a low spend for my other supplies. This I feel like has to be a no spend. I'm not going to be purchasing any more notebooks. Because this is going to take a long time for me to use them all. So I guess that's kind of where my process is with notebooks, and you got an idea of what my actual blank notebook and journal collection is. So I'd love to know if you guys, are you guys hoarding journals too? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not hoarding because it's a passion. I still use them. It's just that I'm not using them at the rate that I'm buying them. And so I'd like to slow it down, focus on using them. And, you know, I mean, it'll just be more wallet friendly and more budget friendly for me to not purchase blank notebooks and journals. So if you guys have your own collection of notebooks and such, yeah, feel free to share. Or if you want to, tag me on Instagram. I'm at Girl and Quill on Instagram. I post a lot of traveler's notebook stuff on there, and I'm a bit more, I would say, social and active on Instagram. I think it's my social media of choice. So if you guys want to tag me there, that would be cool. And just, yeah, let me know your feedback about stationery minimalism. Do you guys find yourself with certain types of supplies that you just have too much of, and you are coming to the realization that maybe you want to rein it in and buy less of? Because I think it's good to be aware of what we're bringing in when it comes to purchasing, because that way you're not stuck with using things that you don't really like, and you can focus on using the things that you love. And that's what it's all about right now for me, is focusing on things that I love. So I will leave it off there. I hope you guys are doing well, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!